The views expressed on the Jerry Cahill CF Podcast are that of Jerry Cahill and guests, and not necessarily those of the Boomer Esiason Foundation. Nothing on the Jerry Cahill CF Podcast should be considered medical advice. Such advice can only be given by a physician who is experienced with cystic fibrosis. The Boomer Esiason Foundation, Jerry Cahill and guests cannot be held responsible for any damage which may result from using the information on this podcast without the permission of your medical doctor. You're listening to the Jerry Cahill CF Podcast presented by the Boomer Esiason Foundation and jerrycahill.com.
Welcome to Jerry Cahill's Living, Breathing, Succeeding podcast series. This show, being a CF mom of 3 daughters and having a full-time job, was made possible through an unrestricted educational grant from the Allergan Foundation to the Boomer Esiason Foundation. Today we'll meet Sara Pulkovski from Michigan, who works a full-time job as a supervisor at Home Depot for over 18 years and is happily married to her husband Bill for over 16 years. Sara and Bill are the proud parents of 3 daughters, Annabelle 13, Sophia 11 with CF, and Hope 4 with CF. Sara enjoys spending time with her family kayaking, traveling, and going to the movies. Sara talks about what it's like having a full-time job, being a CF mom, and explaining to her children what CF is and why they have it.
Hi, I'm Sara Pulkovski. I'm from Clinton Township, Michigan. I've lived in the Metro Detroit area my entire life. I have 3 daughters, 2 of which have cystic fibrosis, and I've been married to my husband Bill for 16 years. We love to do things together as a family, go up north, play games, just be together, go to the movies. Recently, as in the past few years, we've taken up kayaking as a family as well. I have 2 daughters with cystic fibrosis. Sophia, who is almost 12, was diagnosed at 22 months old, and Hope, who is 4 years old, was diagnosed shortly after birth because we were aware of her sister's diagnosis. And there were signs in my pregnancy as well indicating that she may have cystic fibrosis. The first thought as a parent, I'm freaked out. I was upset and, you feel your world just cave in on you. I tried to keep a positive head, knowing of advancements that were being made, that it wasn't the same diagnosis that my cousin had, just based on his age and knowing his generation of CF patients. We've made leaps and bounds, and I knew it wasn't the same situation that we would be facing. I did do my fair share of research. I was told, do not Google, stay off of just random sites and stay with the facts, and was given specific websites to do my research. It took us a long time to come to terms with the possibility of having another child with cystic fibrosis, and ultimately that's what we were given. I've never had a newborn that had this diagnosis, so I was in new waters again. So again, as a new mom, postpartum, and just dealing with that diagnosis, it was very hard. Telling me I have to give my infant, my newborn, applesauce to give her enzymes. You don't feed a baby. It wasn't natural to me, but she opened her mouth like a little bird, and the rest is history. She's 4 years old and absolutely thriving. Life changes, yes, absolutely, when you have children. And then when CF was introduced, we didn't change our lives. We still go and do things and have fun. We often bring treatments with us. We have a plug in the car. We can do nebulizers. We have, ways of doing treatments on the go. And we try to keep our kids in the experiences and not have to sit on the sidelines just because they have to do treatments. Creating a normal life is always, I think, a little bit of a struggle. We try to do special things for Annabelle, our oldest, because we do give a lot of attention to the girls. My husband and I do something, we do date nights with the girls. So one of us will take just one kid. We'll go out to dinner. We'll go somewhere fun that they want to go to. Could be very simple. You want to go out for sushi and go walk around the pet store? If that's what that child wants to do, we'll make that happen. Simple things. When it comes to cystic fibrosis, Hope is aware that she has it and mentions it often. Sophia knows more about it, obviously. She's a little older, and she's presented me with a few more questions. I think she hears or sees things, and she's a little bit curious. But Hope She's aware sometimes at the dinner table, I'll look over at her and realize she's just sitting there and waiting because nobody gave her enzymes yet. And she knows that she needs them, and she'll sit there and wait quietly before she even says anything to us. Sophia this year, starting middle school, we gave her more independence, and she's been able to self-medicate, which has been awesome. But occasionally she'll get the questions asked, like, why are you taking pills? And she'll stop and explain, I have to take them in order to eat. It helps me digest my food. It's extremely nerve-wracking sending any child off to school. I give a detailed packet of what cystic fibrosis is and how it can impact the child at school. Every year at the beginning of the year, I make my packets and I deliver them to maybe a homeroom teacher, the office. I want people to be educated about cystic fibrosis. If you go to cff.org, there's packets that you can print for your teacher, for your school, or whatever. Even I think in the workplace they have one too. So you can educate other people about cystic fibrosis and how they can help you. I always worry, like if we're going to enter a rebellious phase. I know a typical teenager can be rebellious about basic things, and I know these are bigger things and more impactful and mean a lot to her, and it always worries me that she's gonna protest doing treatments and not want to be different anymore. But we try to constantly remind her what an impact on her health that can be. We kind of have a motto in our house where it's not an option. We have to do these things. If you want to be able to do the fun things, if we want a vacation, if we want to just do a certain activity, we have to do our treatments first, or we have to take this medication. There's no other way about it. I feel protective over all my kids, but my husband definitely says I tend to baby, especially Sophia, a little bit. I try not to. I try to stay very aware of that and I guess give it to them equally. Recently, Annabelle was a little bit ill, and I was babying her a lot, and I asked her, I said, does this feel good? Is this something that you're missing out on? Do I not do this enough to you? And she kind of like nodded. I said, well, you just need to tell me when you need this from mom, it's here. I don't mean to only do that to your sisters. With having two children with cystic fibrosis, obviously cross-contamination comes up. We do get asked that question a lot. You can't stop living life. So we kind of have a loose rule of please don't drink after each other. Sometimes we share the same cough all around the house. It happens, just like a normal household. We have never separated our kids or lived life differently. Sophia and Hope have quite a special bond together and help each other with treatments and often cuddle together and do treatments together. My support team is my husband, making him aware when I need something, when I need to just step away or go do something for myself or do something special with him. And then my extended family, my parents, my sister, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, everybody lends a helping hand, whether it be providing childcare or offering to come to appointments with us or just any avenue like that. And me listening for them offering the help. I have learned to, in the past several years, the people that always offer the help, I've started taking the help. I've always wanted to be in control, and I'm starting to allow others to help me, which was a big step for me. Immediately during both their diagnosis, you always have that life expectancy number in your head. And just knowing that's always a fear, but I tend to fear it a lot less now with the advancements that have been made, the medications that my kids are taking, and just their overall health. I don't think that that's going to be their fate. I think it's going to go far beyond that. They're constantly making advancements in the CF community that have come leaps and bounds since our first diagnosis 10 years ago. It's a different disease. and it's a different disease than my cousin's diagnosis, and it's forever advancing.